reading out of the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 14. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I have commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Power of Israel, Yahweh, Ba'ashima Mashiach Yahweh Shai, Ruha Ruka Kodash. Double honors to the mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness and sincerity. Again, I'm going to say shalom. Okay, there's some things we want to bring out, and out in this video, it shouldn't be too long. Okay, you had breaking news of another Slovakia, a teen takeover in Chicago. This happened roughly a month or two ago, where the teens, they kind of, I guess they went to social media and said they would just take to the streets of Chicago and just be, how do you say, misfits from the initial video. How they were rioting. It was just total mayhem and chaos in the streets of Chicago a month ago, and they recently pulled it off again. Okay. And I was watching the elder bring it out. You know, the mayor of Chicago was trying to be lenient towards the kids, but you saw the lawmakers, you know, they didn't really have good words to say, and you know, it's ultimately going to lead to a martial law type scenario, Slovakia, right? And the media, you know, it was just another display of mockery from the media. Okay, but I opened up with those curses because when you go to the most recent video, you saw chiefly people of color. Okay, you had people of color just bugging out, twerking in front of the cops, on the vehicles, on the law enforcement cars, just going off. And it's sad because there was no parent figures to get them to stop what they were doing, and that's these curses, right? And the people that were set up in 1948 in that land, you don't see those people out there, not at all. But you see the real Israelites, the lost sheep, just going off, unfortunately. But that's the people God is going to redeem, at least the elect, right? Like the elder was bringing out, shout out to the mighty elder Zabak. Like he was saying, that's going to end real bad for our people. Something very terrible is going to happen in all these so-called liberal cities, starting with Chicago, and God only knows how bad that list is going to get, right? Let's go to Jeremiah. And it's just a horrific display, but like brother said, man, there's got to be a two parts of our people, unfortunately. There's got to be a two parts, right? It's Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger which shall burn forever, And that's literal for the two parts, because they won't inherit the kingdom. They're going to be destroyed. Okay, that's what's really going to play out. And it's unfortunate, right, to see that display set up again, and to see the loss of our people just go off. Some type of decree will come out of that ultimately, because the lawmakers, like brothers were bringing out, they're going to use that as an excuse to come down on our people very hard, especially in Chicago and among other places. Right? Let's get another precept. Let's read. Let's get Deuteronomy 32 and 26. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 26. And it reads, I said I would scatter them into corners. I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. And that's a gashing on what happened in 1948, because they're well set up. They control America. Okay. And they're chiefly your lawmakers. So it doesn't link up well. The Israelites under the curses versus the true people. I mean, it's playing upon tables who the true Israelites are. Chiefly these Negroes here in America, the Latinos, the so-called Native Americans, so-called Mexicans, all the children of diaspora scattered to the four corners of the earth. Those are the Israelites. Okay, and only a remnant's going to get the kingdom. Right? Reading on. You have this growing condition of hyperinflation that's breaking America down. It's only going to worsen, and as I said, Slakia, in the video past, how they gonna go forward on hyperinflation? Okay, I was listening to some of the channels through social media. A depression is imminent. It's imminent. That's why it's urgent for the Israelites, chiefly Israelites in that world, to come back to your heritage before this destruction comes. Because what's really left for America? The judgment. The future for the United States of America is bleak, so it's important to come back to your heritage or be destroyed as nuclear destruction. And 2 parts of our people gonna get burnt away in thermonuclear destruction for rebelling against the Most High. Right? I'm gonna talk about brother Cornell West. Okay, I think he's running for the Green Party nominee, and you know, the brother has potential. I like the brother, but unfortunately he's moving in an Isaiah 30 spirit. Okay, we're gonna get that. You know, he's a very intellect brother. He's been around. You know, he did make one point I want to put out. He did bring out a point in the interview I watched recently. He brought out how so-called black Americans been fighting the KKK for generations. And he made an excellent point. He had brought out Charlottesville, how the Ku Klux Klan makes it plain their hatred against so-called Negroes in America. Okay? And we can't coexist with them. Right? Taking on the ways of America, these days are thin, okay? White supremacy wanting us to assimilate with them, those days are over. Right? Let's get that preset. Let's get the classic. Let's go back to Isaiah 30. And I like Cornell West. I really like the brother. But We can no longer assimilate with oppression. We must gather ourselves together. Roughly paraphrasing, O nation not desired. Can't gather among oppressors no more. Their time is at hand. So if we gather with them, you're going to be destroyed. Right? Let's read the old classic. Let's read that again. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. We can no longer walk in the ways of America. America's going down. That's the bottom line. America days are thin. Okay. Verse 3. Isaiah 30 and verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Yeah, the brother Cornell West, he mean well, but we can no longer assimilate. I mean, of course, be a law-abiding citizen. I'm not telling you to not keep the laws of the land. I mean, we have to, roughly paraphrasing, be peaceable among men. Maybe that's an account in Romans, to try to be peaceable with men. We could do that, but we have to gather ourselves. Okay, like Marshal Yashala. I'm a representative for Marshal Yashala. I'm more so for Israelites gathering among Israelites. Okay. God said, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Not gather with the Ku Klux Klan. They can't help us. And they're being judged. And ultimately, a far severe judgment is going to come to America. Going into the nuclear missiles. Right? Let's read on. Let's get Genesis. Let's get Genesis. Y'all know what I want. Let's get the classic in Genesis 49 and 1. And it reads, give me a minute. Genesis 49 and 1 reads, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. And we're living in the last days, right? Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken to Israel your father. That's chiefly talking to the Israelites. That's not talking to all nations. That's only dealing with the Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth. Okay. That's what that's going into. Not everybody. And this gospel of the Israelite teaching, that's the gospel that's being taught to bring this judgment. And we've seen it play out. Okay, apocalypse skies, all types of natural disasters, food shortages. You have an account, I believe on the West Coast, they have, there was a restaurant that opened, but the food is made from these scientific labs, and they're actually serving it to the people, right? And God only knows what's in that food while they're serving it, right? These are the last days. We are chiefly in the last days. Okay? So for us in the knowledge of this truth, keep commandments, give exhortation, brothers on the corners, bid in his marriage. That's the only thing we could do, because voting Democrat, Republican, Independent can't help. Only keep these commandments going to get you deliverance, wilderness, judgment, immortality. That's it. America days are thinning out, and we're witnessing it. Okay, we're going to read on. Let's get Zephaniah 2:1. This is the only thing we can do, and I'm chiefly talking to the elect audience. Lukewarm Israelites, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Can't have one foot in this truth and one foot out. It will not work. Okay? Zephaniah 2:1 reads, gather yourselves together, yet gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as a chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you. Okay? Because a great judgment's going to come, far greater than the judgment's panning out right now. Okay? D-Day, Deliverance Day, aka Doomsday for the wicked. That's coming. So it's very urgent to be firm in this truth. The clock is winding down for America and the elites. These wicked kings, they're finished. And they're in panic mode, right? Let's deal with this World War III news. I'm almost done. The brothers were bringing out, shout out to WFI. The brother was bringing out, they have this setup in Ukraine. The citizens, I forget what part of Ukraine, it may be all of Ukraine. The citizens are being told to leave. You had people in these hazard suits. Okay. The word is, it's gonna be like another Chernobyl. How do you say Chernobyl 2.0? You go back to the history of Chernobyl, it was a nuclear plant that leaked, and man, that thing was horrific. You had chemical rain, all types of madness came out of that condition. And that's many years ago. But the stage could be set where some type of fallout could happen, and that condition could lead to NATO fighting Russia. Because we already knew the powers that be, they're going to put it on Russia anyway. But I noticed there was a big setup there. A lot of people had hazard suits. A lot of citizens are told to leave. They're given a deadline. And something really bad's going to play out very soon. That's one condition. You have, I posted recently the North Korea threat. North Korea have hypersonic missiles now. Iran has hypersonic missiles. Okay, Iran have hypersonic missiles. You have China. Okay, you have so many scenarios that's about to pan out. Why the United States economy is just choking. Said this place is being judged, and that great judgment is coming. It's coming very fast. Faster than we could believe. That's why you must be firm in the truth in these last days. Do not go back into the ways of Babylon the Great. Don't do it. Because this place is going to be destroyed. Okay? And the Most High not dealing with 4th of July. It's not my independence. It's not the independence of the Israelites. It's mockery to the people that was already here. It's mockery to the indigenous people of this land. And that's the truth. And that's why America's being judged. Okay? Roughly paraphrasing Exodus 21:16. Okay? They stole the people. They made them slaves. And till this day, no justice, no peace. Okay? And these days of calling out for these people for help, that's over. Big brother's on the way with them chariots. Hamashiach Yahushua going to set the stage, and he's going to destroy the wicked by Shem Hamashiach Yahushua. Let's get the classic in Matthews. We're going to end it. Right? Matthews 24:6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows, okay? And these days are here. It's only going to get worse for America going forward. And I anticipate some type of false flag event to bring in a lockdown, martial law. You know, we coming into that time. Or, as I so like to push, the destruction. Okay? We see the big tornado videos on YouTube. We see those tornado chasers, how they chase these giant twisters, or where they go into towns and you hear them sirens go off. Right? The sirens may go off for a different reason. And it's not impossible. Actually, family, it's probable. We may hear them sirens because the missile's coming. At some point, that's going to play out going into your 7th trumpet. Okay? That's going into your 2nd Ezra 7:43. Okay? That's going into your Isaiah 43, 1 and 2. When the elect is saved and delivered, and the wicked's going to perish. With Massa. That's what's going to happen. Let's get that. Let's get that. Let's end it in 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9. Because these days are coming real fast. If it be of the Most High. 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 9, it reads, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Power of Israel, Yahweh, Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Double honors to mighty men, the elders, and the apostles in the community, waking up the lost sheep, the house of Israel in these last days. Peace and blessings to everyone doing this truth and humbleness, sincerity. Israel, I love y'all. We got next. Shalom.